Welcome to the Life After Life podcast, where we explore our soul's physical and non-physical journey. I'm Majona. Let's discuss angels, guides, and loved ones from the other side. And we're back. Thomas and Majona.
I'm doing this radio show with this group in Dallas, and one of the guys likes to do that. He gets it from Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, is that where it comes
from?
from?
We don't watch that, but it's like he loves to do, and we're back.
No wonder that sounded familiar. Well, this podcast is about aging. A hot topic on this side of the veil.
See y'all later.
That's not such a fun thing on this side. So when we are on the other side of the veil, what do you think? Do we age?
No. My vote is no.
My vote is no. It's really an interesting thought. When I think this is what happens when it's a baby, like if there's even a stillborn, they can't really communicate with us if they were still present, right, in a way that we could understand. But we can understand a 3 or a 5-year-old. So it seems that if there's an infant that has already experienced whatever it needed to experience and chose to not stick around on this plane, to communicate, they do come back still as a child, but older. And then on the other end of the spectrum is, if you've made a transition or a loved one has made a transition from some thing that made them not age well. Maybe they were in a lot of pain. Like my dad had cancer, and by the time he made his transition, he physically looked nothing at all like what he looked like 2 months or even 2 weeks before. But when he comes back to me now, he looks like he did about 15 years before he died. So I can't say that there's a specific age that they go to, but I think and maybe it varies. Maybe they go to an age, maybe that's how my dad shows up for me, because that is a time that I knew he was really happy. That was a good time in his life. There were many, but that was the most recent.
Okay, now, if let's take this a little deeper into a question. So if you take like the audiobook Lives of the Soul that I narrated for Fred Dodson, or if you take Michael Newton's work, they describe basically the soul as looking like an orb.
Uh-huh.
So wherever there is, right, the non-physical reality, there are realms. Fred describes it very well in Lives of the Soul and puts the whole realm thing in perspective of where they are relative to Earth. But in a realm beyond, if the soul is in an orb-type, glowing light, ball of light formation, let's just presume.
A ball of energy.
Ball of energy. I wonder how that projection of the humanity of that life comes back.
That is a really interesting question. That's funny because, and this is why I love these discussions, it frames things sometimes in a manner I haven't thought about them. So we can see orbs, which is that ball of energy that you're talking about is called an orb. If you take a picture, sometimes those orbs show up and you might think, oh, there's something on my camera lens here, right? Because it looks like maybe a dust speck or
solar flare.
Yeah.
Light flare. Yeah.
And sometimes it might be, and sometimes it's not. That can be an angel. Angels are usually the brighter lights, but it can be angels, guides. It can be loved ones. And I think that's how they show up when they're not necessarily trying to communicate with you. They are present so often, and we just don't maybe have a conversation with them. That doesn't mean they're not involved in your life or checking you out, saying hi. So they can show up as an orb. Then if they do want to contact you, I believe that they show up in a form that you will recognize. For example, I've always been pretty good at keeping work and this part of my life separate. And yet one time I was at work and this lady showed up who was determined that I talk to her granddaughter. And I was like, no, I can't do that right now. And she was very, very persistent. So I finally kind of, eased into it and brought it up. And that grandmother was very detailed, right down to, and she emphasized to me to describe the dress that she was wearing. Normally, spirits aren't quite that detailed. So when I described the dress, as it turned out, was exactly what her granddaughter needed to hear to know for sure that was her grandmother, because that was the dress they buried her in, which, I would have no way of knowing. So if they have something specific, I think they can show up accordingly. When they show up in your dreams, my mom will show up, and the places that we did our best talks were either on road trips or sitting on the couch drinking coffee early in the morning. Usually that's how she shows up. Either we go on a road trip or share coffee. So that's a cool question. I didn't see that one coming. I love that. Well, Thomas has worked diligently, and we now have a live website. So please check us out at lifeafterliferadio.com. And I have stepped into the leading that I've been receiving from my angels and guides. And on the website, you can sign up for a session if you would like to meet with your angels or guides or see who shows up from the other side. I am happy to serve as your interpreter. So that's available on the website. There are also some free downloads. We did some audio and video that you can download on the website. And then, effective today, we also have our Facebook group page. So that is also Life After Life Radio. And as always, you can contact us at, either from the website, or you can email Majona at lifeafterliferadio.com.
Or Facebook.
Or the
got all
Facebook
kinds
group.
of ways.
Yeah.
All kinds of portals.
Let's get interactive and personal on the Facebook page. Oh, well, not real personal, but interactive on the Facebook page. We'd love to see you there. And until next time, namaste.